Hello Divination and welcome. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to download and install our free header and footer layout for Divi's Acupuncture layout pack. This is the final result we're aiming to achieve. So without wasting a lot of time, let's dive in and let's get started. All right, so the first thing we need to do is we need to head over to this blog post, which I will link to in the show notes below. Scroll down and click on Get It for Free Today. Enter your email address, click on download, and you can download the files here. So you can see here that my files have been downloaded onto my downloads folder. So all I have to do now is to navigate to that folder. So here I am. I'm going to double click here to open that zipped file. It's important that you open it. Okay, so this is the file that we are interested in. I'm just going to drag this over to the side and then come back to it in a moment. Next, I need now to come over here to my site and scroll all the way down to Divi. Click on Theme Builder. Now, before we add our header and footer, let us take a look and see what this page looks like. So as you can see, we don't really have a styling to our header. And when we go all the way to the bottom here, we also don't have a footer going on here. Okay, so that's what we need to do over here in our theme builder. Next, you want to click on portability and then click on import. So make sure you're on the import tab, otherwise this wouldn't work. All right, so over here now, remember that file that we unzipped? I'm just going to drag it over here. Now, making sure override the default website template and allow import to override existing assignment are both checked. Click on import Divi theme builder templates. So this now is going to add our header and footer to our template. Okay, so as you can see, our header and footer now has been applied globally. That means that this header and this footer is going to be site-wide. Okay, so let's save changes here and see what this looks like so far. So I'm going to come over here and refresh. So let's start with the footer. So as you can see here, we have this beautiful footer now. It has this appointment button. It also has an email opt-in and all the addresses and also the main services. Now let's scroll all the way back up, and here we can see now that we now have a totally different design to our header. And we also have our social media icons. Now, let me show you how you can go in and customize this and make it look the way you want. So what we're going to do now is we're going to come back to our theme builder and we're going to start with our header. So I'm going to click on the pencil icon. So first things first, let's start with our logo. So I'm going to click here on this gear icon to enter my image settings. Now this logo has been assigned dynamically, which means this is going to show across the whole website. So right now I can see this is a bit pixelated. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into sizing and just make a few adjustments here to my logo, just make it slightly smaller. So I think I'm going to go with about, say, 54. That looks much better. So this is what you need to do with your logo. So make sure you go in and adjust it so that it looks nice and crisp. In fact, right now I can see it's not really looking the way I want. So I'm going to go back into sizing and just make this even much smaller. So I'm going to go down to about 40% and save. Okay, so that's looking much better now. Next, let's now work on this background. So I'm going to click here on my section settings, go to background. And as you can see, this is our main color that we have here for the background. Okay. So what we can also do is we can play around with these colors and change these colors to match our own brand. So let's say, for example, I go with black. You can see that there's been a slight change to that. And then over here, I can also play around with my colors. So you can see it's getting darker as I go all the way down. So perhaps it could be the color that you want to go with. This is how you update it. Now, for the purpose of this tutorial, I want to show you that we also have an image here in the background. And this is right here. I know if I delete it, it's going to go. Like you've seen now, it's gone. But that is where the image is. Okay, so I'm just going to close out of here, but those are the main changes that you can do to your header. So make sure you add the color that matches your brand. So I'm going to close out of here. Now let's take a look here at our next button. So I'm going to click here, and this is the Our Services button. Okay, so you can change the text over here to whatever you want and make sure that this is linking somewhere. So this is our button URL and it's going to link to our page. But in this case, I'm just adding a blank link. Next, over here on the design, this is where you can go in and click on button And as you can see, use custom styles for button is already activated. So this is where you can go in and change the colors to the background of the button if you wanted to. So you can see now it is showing, but it's much better if there isn't anything in the background. Okay, now moving on, we can also play around with our font. So here we have default, so you can set this to Poppins, for example, and you can see it has been updated, and that's how easy it is. You can go in and make changes to that. So you can also increase the size and so on. All right, so I'm going to close out of here. Now the settings here can also be applied the same over here to the right, to this contact us button. But with these two buttons, make sure you add the link to those pages. Now let's take a look at our social media icons. So I'm going to click here on this gear icon. So far we have Facebook and Twitter. So you can add another one here and click on this gear icon. So you can change this network to, let's say, YouTube, and you can see it has been updated. Okay, so that's looking great. And also, one important thing that you need to do here is you need to add the URL to your YouTube channel. If you don't do that, then when visitors come to your website, they won't be able to make this work. All right, so close out of here. Now let's take a look at the menu. So I'm going to click on this gear icon, and this is taking us to our menu settings. And this is where all your buttons are going to show. Okay. And so the first things first, make sure you target your menu over here. So you need to create it first, and then it's going to show up here on the drop down. So once you've selected it, this is how the layout will look like. So you can come over here to design, menu text, and this is where you can start customizing your text. So this is your link color, and over here is your main text color. So you can change this to black, red, or whatever color you want. So I'm just going to leave it as default. If you want to make it all caps, you can do it by selecting all caps, and let's make this bold. So now you can see that's really standing out. Okay, so that is how you update that. So I'm just going to save that. So that's really how you update your header area. So once you're happy with everything, so you can just click on expand settings over here on the bottom, save. You can close out of here and save one more time. Now let's take a look at the footer. So I'm going to click again this pencil icon. Okay, so this whole area here is our footer. So what you can do is, if there's any elements you want to get rid of, you can just click here on this delete. So even here, this area here may be a bit too much for the site. So if you want to get rid of it, just click here on delete, and that's it, gone. Now let me show you how to customize this. So let's start with the titles here. So if I click on this gear icon, it's going to take us into our text area. So once I highlight this, you can now see that this has been assigned heading 3. So if you want to make changes to this, just come over here to design, heading text, and make sure you select heading 3. And this is where now you can change your color. So you can see as I'm going through here, I can update my colors, and also I can adjust my size. So if I want to make this bigger or even slightly smaller, this is where I can do that. So that's all that is to it. Okay, so this is how you update all your titles. Now let's take a look at the address. So I'm going to click here on module settings, and here we can start off by taking a look at our address. So this is where you would adjust your address. So you can see here, as soon as you start typing, it gets updated, and that's how you make changes to that. So this now is a blurb. So if you want to go specifically and start editing this, you can always come over here. So this is this little title here which says address. It can be customized over here. So you can change the colors as well if you wanted to do that. And for the rest of the text, you can just come over here and make changes to the text. So let's say you want that to be semi-bold. You can see now that has been updated, and that is looking good. Okay, so that is how you update this area here. This is a blurb. So once you update the address, the phone, and the email, because this is the same module. Next, let's take a look here at this button here on the bottom. So first things first, you want to make sure your button is linking to the right page. So I'm going to add my blank link over here. In your case, you want to add your link that goes to the book appointment page. Okay, that is very, very important. All right, so let's say you want to customize that. You can just come over here to design, button, and our text color. You can change it to white if you wanted to, but I'm just going to go back to what we had before. And we also have the button background color here, which is similar to the background of our footer. And if we want to change the button altogether, you can just do that, and you can see that our button now has changed. Excellent. So that is how you update the button. And if you wanted to change the font, you can just come over here to your button font and you can just change it over here. All right, great. I'm going to close out of here. Let's move on to our treatments. So I'm going to go into the first one here. And again, this is a blurb. So with this one here, it has an image. So you want to come over here to your image, and you can see this is where you would come and change the image over here. Okay. So next, all we have now is just this text which says physical pain, and that can be adjusted here. So if you want to change the colors, you can just update your colors over here like that. Okay, I'm going to close out of here. So the same updates to this can be done on these other ones because they're the same thing. All right, so moving on, we also have this email opt-in, and now this email opt-in is very important to set up correctly, because if you don't, this won't work. So first things first, you want to make sure that you link it up with your email service provider. By default, it's on MailChimp, but there's a lot to choose from. So personally, I use Fluent CRM. So this is where I would choose Fluent CRM and select it here. Now, once you've done that, you select your list and then you click on Add. Next, you want to set up your success action. So at the moment, after they subscribe, they will just see this message that says success. But if you want to take them to a specific page, you can redirect them to a custom URL. And this will take them to the thank you page, or even a page which has even more information. And if you want to play around with the design of your opt-in, you can just click here on this brush tool, and this will take you to the button. And again, here on the button, you can just update your colors. So that is the text color. And if you want to adjust your background color, you can just add that, and you can see now that has been updated, and that is looking great. Okay, so I'm going to close out of here. Finally, we have our text over here on the bottom. So the social media buttons here can be updated the same way as I did on the header. So I'm just going to take a look here at this footer text. So this shows the current date. But if you want to further customize this, you can see here we've added our copy and our copyright, and we also added our all rights reserved, and it's also showing our custom date. Okay, close out of here. And if you want to further customize this, you can come over here to the design tab, and you can then go to your text, change the text, and match this with your actual branding font. And once you've done that, you can just save it. So for now, I'm just going to close out of this, discard and exit. Now let's take a look at our final page. So this is now our design with the header. And when I scroll all the way down to the bottom here, you can see that this is our footer. So there you have it. Thank you all for watching. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, and do follow us on our social media platforms. By doing so, you'll be notified every time we release new tutorials. Until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.